Greetings, foolish mortals. This today's video is going to be a little different. I've had some people request that I show some more of my custom cards and autograph pictures that I send out through the mail, and to give out a few tips on how you can improve your returns and get some real good stuff. I've been very lucky. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And what I'm going to show you off today is some stuff that I actually haven't put into binders or anything yet. So I do have quite a lot that I haven't put in. I kind of ran out of space and ran out of holders, so that's been that way. But let's start off with some Marvel. I made these so that they were all the Marvel Universe. And I even included stuff that wasn't Marvel yet. The X-Men movies, the Spider-Man movies, that's what the back of the cards look like. Things like that. This is from X2. And Chris Pine, or Chris Pine. It's one of the Chris's. Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy. He actually sent back one from Jurassic Park as well when I sent that one off. But I did the same thing with the Jurassic Parks, is I changed the logo of it. So it was right for the logo for the movie they were in, but then the rest of the thing is just an individual picture. You'll see that it kind of follows a theme throughout. And I had these printed on basically playing cards. It's as close as I could get to baseball cards, which I collect tons of non-sports cards. I probably have about 6,000 or 7,000 sets, and more than that in autograph cards. At the end, I'll show you a sorting project I'm working on that. But this is Richard Armitage from First Avenger, Captain America. This is Jennifer Lawrence from the First Class, X-Men First Class movie. Kenneth Chow, also from Captain America, and from the Agent Carter show. That's actually where I sent this to get autographed. Jason Fleming from X2, I think? I don't remember. I get the X-Men movies all confused. So does Deadpool, so I'm feeling okay with that. And I did the same thing with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So everything that was in the Marvel Universe. This is Martin Sheen from Spider-Man. Anything that was in that universe. Bradley Cooper. You can't see the autograph very well because it's a pin on there from Guardians. But that way, anything that came in Marvel, I wouldn't have separate things for. And I try and do that. That way it cuts down in time. When you're making cards or making pictures to send, if you're going to put that kind of a detail and stuff into them, do it as a group. Like Back to the Future. I did Back to the Future once, and they all pretty much look exactly the same. This is Huey Lewis from Back to the Future 1. And then when I got to Back to the Future 2, this is James Tolkien as Mr. Strickland. I just changed up in the corner, you can see from Back to the Future 1 to 2 to 3. And then the back of the card is the trilogy. So that way anything they did for Back to the Future, it was set up like that. The only thing I don't do like that are my Disney cards, and I'll get to those in a minute. All my Disney and Pixar are by movie specific, just because I think they look cooler that way. Transformers. I did kind of the same thing. I made cards that were basically Transformers Universe. And on the back is a Gen 1 picture. But this is Rob Paulsen, who played 2 of the Aerobots in Generation 1. I also got him to sign some Animaniacs stuff for me, but that's actually already packed away. Rob Paulsen is a great voice actor. He does tons of stuff, and so he's somebody you could send 3 or 4 different things to. You never want to overwhelm an actor or feel that you're asking too much for them. I've never sent more than 4 things at a time. And then in there, in my letter, I've actually, said, if, you've done, 13 or 14 characters on this show, would you mind if I sent you some? And I've offered to pay. And most everybody will send a note back with my original one that says, please go ahead and send them. Some people like the work. They send little notes on the back that say they like my style. And you can get a few good ones. We'll run across a couple of those in Star Wars later. These are some I did for Dick Tracy. The kids and lips. And then, of course, the back is just the movie poster. If I could, I put the movie poster on most of the backs. That way it's easier to see, and you know exactly what it is when I'm trying to sort them through. Chuck. This is, of course, Robert Englund. He plays Freddy Krueger. I did not send him a Freddy Krueger card, simply because I know that that's what everybody always asks him for. This is another good way to get returns. I've already met him a couple times, so I already have some Freddy stuff signed by him. But by sending a Chuck thing, he signed it and sent it back without having to charge. And in some cases, the artists or the performers really enjoy getting asked to sign things that they don't normally get to ask to sign. Back in the day when he was first on DS9, Renee Genois, who plays Odo on the show, was at a convention, and I brought a picture. I had actually met him a few months before, and so I already had my Odo. So what I wanted was something different. And he has voiced the chef in the Little Mermaid movie. So I brought a picture of the chef for him to sign, and he was ecstatic. It was the first time anybody had ever asked him to sign something from the Little Mermaid. I'm sure most people have done it since then. But even when you're meeting somebody in person, if you want a special moment with them, ask them to sign something they haven't seen or something you like that is a very odd request. It may seem weird, but you'll sometimes get a great story out of it. And sometimes when I'm sending these, I think of that, and I'll send something that maybe they're not the most popularly known for, but a role they liked. So another one is the Muppets. And I got Oscar. This was great to get Carol Spinney before he passed away. And he also signed the back of them. And this was, I got these, and he passed away not too long after this. And these are some of my most special ones, just because Sesame Street and the Muppets have always meant so much to me when I was growing up. And Jim Henson's death hit me really hard, because it just kind of came out of the blue. But I do have some of the new Muppet characters. One of my favorite new ones is Pepe, the King Prawn. He's hilarious. And Bill Bartley, he took over a lot of the characters. He took over Rolf, and he took over the Swedish Chef, and he took over Dr. Teeth. And I was real happy to get these. Any of the Muppets I can ever get. Any of those performers. I love voice performers. I love character actors. And I love puppeteer people like from the Muppets. Or rare shows that you just don't see very often. A couple I was happy to get back to. Norman Reedus from the Boondock Saints. And Dave DeLaRocque, also from the Boondock Saints. I did get a few others, but those have already been packed away. Next I'll show you off some of the Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. So when I did Game of Thrones, I went ahead and put all the houses at the bottom, just so everybody would be represented. Now, I have toned these down a little bit. Actually, when you'll see the other ones, I actually have been requested to change the size of my cards. Instead of being this size, which is just a normal autograph, they've requested for me to move. So I moved up to, and I'll show you some of them later, or possibly in a second video here in a minute, since this one's kind of getting long. This is the new size. And on the through the mail autograph ones I showed earlier on another video, you could see the difference in the size. And I had that requested because they wanted some more space. I don't do 8x10s a lot. I used to, but I don't anymore because they cost so much. And sometimes people just think you're trying to get something to sell on eBay. If you don't care about that, make sure you put that in your letter too. That, you don't mind it being personalized. A lot of people feel that if they sign something, they're going to see it on eBay 2 days later. But I don't sell any of my cards. I don't sell any of my autographs. They're for me. If I can get them made out to my name, I will enjoy that just as much as any. Now, here are some of my Disney ones. Now, the Disney ones, like I said, I did each individual movie as their own. So some of them are very light just because, like with the Jungle Book, there aren't a lot of actors from it that are still with us, unfortunately. So each one has a different background with the character's name and the title of the movie. This is Jason Alexander as Hugo. This is Tom Selleck from Meet the Robinsons. Laurie Metcalf, also from Meet the Robinsons. I was real happy. I also got Adam West back in this collection. I was real happy with the Disney voice actors are another set that I really have enjoyed. Cheryl Shirley from Robin Hood. Robin Hood is my favorite Disney animated film, so that was really great to get. Claudia Christensen from Atlantis. Laurie Metcalf again. She was also in Treasure Planet. Highly underrated film. I went back and watched it more recently, and it's a much better film than I remember it being back in the day. Now, when I did Pixar stuff, I reorientated them differently so that they could be, just something different for my Disney stuff. So this is John Ratzenberger, who everybody knows is in every Pixar movie. So I have sent him quite a lot of stuff, and he has been good enough to sign it. This is Tim Allen as Mr. Buzz Lightyear. Ned Beatty. John Morris, who he's played Andy in all the films. Annie Potts. Julie Benson, who was also the Little Mermaid, the voice of Ariel. This is Craig T. Nelson. John Turturro. And Jim Cummings from Tailspin, from my Disney Afternoon collection, as Don Carnage. So, I have random sets that I can't get very many people from. I was very happy to get Kurt Russell from both Fox and the Hound and Big Trouble in Little China. When Annie Potts signed my one for Toy Story, she also signed my card for Ghostbusters. This is Kane Holder from Friday the 13th. He played a Jason. So I did that kind of stuff, and then I've been real lucky. When I started this, I was a huge fan of Supernatural. I kind of slipped off that in season 10. I need to get back, and since it's over now. But I was able to get a lot of really great autographs through the mail from some of the major stars of the first few seasons. This is Rachel Miner from, she played Meg on the series. This is James Patrick Stewart. He played Dick. Mark Pagliano, who is Lucifer. Rob Benedict, he's a great guy, a blast to meet, and he's God. Spoilers. Sebastian Roche, and he was Balthazar. The incredible Mark Shepard as Crowley. Felicia Day as Charlie. Jim Beaver. Ozark. Matt Cohen. Of course, Jared and Jensen don't sign through the mail ever. In fact, they're super expensive. They're like at least $100 to get if you go to one of their shows. So, Misha. He is quite possibly the nicest person in the world. He really is. He's a super nice guy. He does a ton for charity. I may not agree with his politics a lot of the times, but he is a truly good person. And I'm glad he was able to be on the show for so many years. Richard Sprite Jr. Here's a good example of somebody who, if you meet, take them something weird. He was in Band of Brothers and some other stuff. But what I took for him to sign was his appearance in Ernest Goes to Camp, where he played one of the jerks who was trying to make all the kids from the probationary school upset. So, you know, he thought that was hilarious. He showed it to Robert, who was sitting next to him, and he was like, "Man, you dug this out." And I was like, "Honestly, until last week when I rewatched the film, I didn't even know you were in it." And I said, then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, now I know I'd have to get signed." So he's a really nice guy, and it's a good example of how you can get somebody to sign something weird and get a good experience out of it. I also did a series of cards based on 80s things that I liked. It was called I Love the 80s. And it's a collection of things like shows and cartoons and things like that that I couldn't really create a huge amount of cards for, but I was able to get quite a good selection of stuff. Now, one of my favorite cartoons of the 80s was Danger Mouse. If anybody's watching this in England, you know exactly what this is. And the first show was really good. I actually liked the reboot. It wasn't nearly as funny, but, you know, I still think they could have gotten David Jansen to be on the show. Alan Oppenheimer, who was about 30 different people on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, including Skeletor. I have sent him a few things because he's also in a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff in the 70s and 80s. He's in Transformers. He did a lot of voice work. He also was a live-action actor in a ton of stuff in the 60s and 70s, including he played Rudy, I think it was Rudy, in The $6 Million Man. So, which is another one of my favorite shows. Now, of course, everybody's favorite show from the 80s was Magnum P.I. And Tom Selleck was nice enough to send this back when he sent back my card for the Meet the Robinsons. William Daniels from Knight Rider, and I had him sign this and a card from St. Elsewhere that he was a star of. And, of course, everybody knows him from Boy Meets World, which I wasn't a big fan of, so I didn't make a card for him. Neil Ross is another voice actor who does a ton of stuff. One of the things he did was Keith from Voltron. Don Most. Now, Most, everybody knows him as Potsy from Happy Days. So it was good to get him in something else, some Dungeons and Dragons. Larry Kinney is another great voice actor. Here he is as Jackalman from Thundercats. And then I was working on Batman the Animated Series. I got a few, but a lot of the voice actors, they don't sign a lot. A lot of them, a few of them have passed away, in fact. But I was able to get Kevin Conroy and Paul Williams. And the great thing about Paul Williams is when he sent this back, he also sent back my Muppets card. He was a star on a couple of the Muppets, and he wrote the music for the Muppet movie and Letters from Santa, I think. He was a good writer and producer of songs. He was also in Smokey and the Bandit 1, as was I. When we lived in Atlanta when I was a kid, we were actually extras in the end scene where they come into the little demolition derby drag racy thing at the end, and I got to meet Burt Reynolds and Jackie Gleason and Paul Williams, and they were all very friendly. Jackie Gleason was great. My only claim to fame, which of course is not anywhere. I'll show you a couple other things, and I think I'm going to cut this video short and then show you some of the larger scale ones like this in a separate video. That way I don't take up too much of you guys' time. I know everybody's busy. I watch a lot of these YouTube things at work, and it does help pass the time. But anything over about 20 or so minutes, and I do get a little fidgety. So another collection I made was ones that just have the movie poster in the corner. This is Roger Aston Griffiths from Young Sherlock Holmes, which was a great film I loved. This is Topol from Fiddler on the Roof, and I sent this one because I wanted him to sign something different, because what I really wanted was Flash Gordon. And also from Flash is here we are. And I thought I had one more. Oh yeah. And I just showed this one off recently. Richard O'Brien just sent that back not too long ago. So that was great. I got a great return from the incredible Gene Wilder. I had him sign Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles and Willy Wonka, of course. I wanted to send more, wanted Silver Bullet or Hear No Evil, See No Evil, but I knew he wasn't well. And I didn't want to bother him too much. I just really talked about a television show he was on that I really, really liked, and how much his wife's work on Saturday Night Live, Gilda Radner, meant to me and my mom. My mom was a huge fan of hers, and he sent back a really nice note and my autographs, and it's definitely a high point. John Turturro from Brain Donors, very underrated movie. It's basically a remake of Night at the Opera by the Marx Brothers, but he is hilarious. In fact, that whole cast is great. This is Time Daly. Most people know her from Cagney and Lacey. This is from the Enforcer, which was a Dirty Harry movie. And the last one I'll show off for today is Dave Harvey. He is Kit Kat. No. Was it Kit Kat? No, he's Snickers. Sorry. Snickers from Hudson Hawk. And if you haven't watched Hudson Hawk, you need to watch Hudson Hawk, because Hudson Hawk's a great movie. Like I said, Through the Mail stuff's great. I do get a few back here and there. I really need to get back into it. I got diverted by some other projects. But I used to send out about 30 or 40 requests a month, and I'd get about 50 to 60% of them back. Through great places like Star Tiger or IMDb Pro. IMDb Pro is a great place because they not only list what's coming up, but they list their production companies and their what's going on, what they're producing. Like Spider-Man 3 is in production now, and they're shooting in Brooklyn. They have an office in Brooklyn. So when I send a couple things out to get autographed, you send them there, and then they generally do give their mail out. I've gotten quite a few back recently because I think during the coronavirus everybody was catching up on some of their fan mail. But it's a great resource. IMDb Pro is really good. And production notes, if you subscribe to that is actually, that costs, it's about $45 or something like that. It's a good chunk. But every 2 or 3 weeks you get a shooting schedule of where things are shooting, whether they're television shows or whether they're movies. They give you their production offices and things like that, and you can send stuff to them and hopefully get to the stars that you're looking for. It's how I got some things. I don't know where they went, but I do have they're in the larger ones, that's right. Like Robert Downey Jr. and a couple other good ones coming up, you'll see. But like I said, I am working on a new project. I'll show you these. I found a box of autograph cards that I'd forgotten existed, which happens to me quite a lot, actually. Here I've got tons of comics I'm still sorting. All these are either autographs, and I have tons of stuff. But I found this. These are all cards from different sets that I'm sorting, making sure I've got inventoried properly, and then I'll post up on my autograph page that I have on YouTube, on Facebook, and then a couple other things. Also, the wall behind me is going to change greatly. Kind of tired of looking at the same stuff, plus kind of getting tired of Funko. I have well over 4,000 of them now, and most of them are now in the garage because I've run out of space. But again, thank you guys, and I'll post this video up and then get the other one with the larger autographs out as soon as I can. Thanks, y'all. Please subscribe and like, and pass it on to others who might be interested. Thank you.